below I see blue eyes crying in the rain. Ever tried playing this song and thought, why doesn't mine sound anything like that? Well, this video is for you. This is really a basic version. There's no fancy bits. There's none of the walk-ups and the solos or anything like that. Just the chords you already know, played slowly with your thumb. And by the end of this guitar tutorial for beginners, you'll be able to play a simple, steady version that actually sounds like the song, even if you've only been learning for a few months. So let's tune up, let's check our chords, learn the rhythm, and then play through this song, but nice and slowly. Right then, let's get tuned up together. Now this part's pretty quick, but it's really important because if your guitar's slightly out of tune, then nothing's going to kind of sound right. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why some beginners just give up, because they think it's their chords or it's their strumming or it's something, the transitions or whatever, when sometimes it's just the guitar being out of tune that makes everything sound rubbish. So let's fix that first. So I'm going to play each string a few times, try and match your sound to mine. And if it doesn't quite work out first time, no problem. Just repeat this section until it feels right. So here is the low E string, the 6th string. Here is the A string, the 5th string. And here is the D string, the 4th string. All right, now the G string, the 3rd string. Here's the 2nd string, the B string. And finally the high E string, the 1st string. Here we go. Okay, and the great thing about this is also practice. It's great practice for training your musical ear. Well, all right, that's sounding much better now. So while we're here, let's just check the chords we're going to be using. So we're going to be using E major, A major, and B7. And even if you already know them, it is always worth a quick refresher because a tiny change in finger placement can make big difference in how clean and how musical your chords sound. So let's start with the E major chord. So the chord is on the screen. So we're using our 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers. And it's always a good idea when you place a chord, when you fret a chord, it's always a good idea just to make sure that your chord is sounding clean and there's not too much buzz. Obviously, when you're starting out, you are going to have a bit of buzz and a bit of muffling. But there's 2 things you can do. one, you can forget about it, don't worry about it, it's completely normal. Or 2, you can see if you can try to spot what's buzzing. For example, like that, maybe just press down a little harder. And sometimes arching your fingers so that they're like that on the fretboard and not like that on the fretboard is always a good idea. And the same with the A major chord. Play through it, make sure it's kind of, the strings are ringing clean. And again, check your positioning, check your fingers on the fretboard. Are you pressing down hard enough, but not too hard. You don't want your fingers to turn white or bleed. And then with the B7, this is the hardest of the three chords, I would say. But the great thing about B7, I think, it's kind of similar to the A major. See, the way I play A major is with fingers 2, 3 and 4. And then with B7, you're still using fingers 2, 3 and 4, but they kind of spread out a little bit more. However, the one thing you will notice is that the third finger is in the same position for both the A major and the B7. And as I said, that's if you play it like this. A lot of people play it with their first, second and third. I find that more difficult for some reason. I find I can't seem to press down as much, and also I get that muffling. So when I get that muffling there, this is when I have to kind of move my thumb about, and I have to move my thumb back a little. So those are the three chords, E, A and B7. Okay, so now you've got the three chords there. Let's talk about the verse for Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. And here's the chord progression. We've got 4 bars of E, 2 bars of B7 and 2 bars of E. And this repeats before going into the middle. But let me show you the pattern that I want to use, this thumb pattern, because we're only using your thumb. We're not using a plectrum, we're not using your fingers, it's just the thumb doing all the work on this side of the guitar. Okay, so have a look at this. And before I show you, don't panic when you see this. Okay, so that may look a little complicated, but let me just explain this step by step. So we've got kind of 4 lines, right? The first line is, for example, it says 6 and 5. Now 6 and 5 means what strings you're going to play with your thumb when you're picking. Okay, not when you're strumming, but when you're picking. So for example, in that first bar, you have 6 and 5. So you're going to pick the 6th string and the 5th string. We then have TD. Now T means your thumb in terms of picking, and the D means a down strum. Down strum. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's a bar. In each bar there are 4 beats, and those numbers represent the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then lastly, the final line, we have E. Basically, that's the chord you're going to be playing. Okay, so now let's break down this pattern. So for the first 4 bars, we're playing the E major chord. We're going to be picking the 6th and 5th strings. And so put the chord on. Once you've got the chord on, you're done, right, for this side. So this side is what comes next. So the first beat is 6th string, right? You're picking with your thumb like that. And then the second beat is down. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And the thing is, once you've done the pick, 1, your thumb is going to just rest there for a moment before it goes on to beat 2 for the down. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Beat 3, you're now picking the 5th string. And then you're doing exactly the same. Pick. Your thumb is going to rest before strumming on the 4th beat. 3, 4, 3, 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go into the B7 chord for 2 bars. And if we look at what we're actually picking, now we're picking strings 5 and 6. Now string 5, you're already fretting something there. So you're going to pick, strum, pick, and then then strum. And again, you're doing the same sort of thing. Pick it, let your thumb rest on the 4th string before second beat of the down, which is a down strum. Now here is a slight challenge for you. Now when we go from the 1st beat and then the 2nd beat, which is a strum, the 3rd beat you're picking the 6th string, right? The 6th string. But you're not picking it opened, because this is horrible. Oh, it's killing me. So what we're actually doing is we're going to take the 2nd finger, and excuse me if that's a little on the rude side, right? We're going to take that finger and we're going to put it on the 2nd fret of this low E string. So we're kind of switching the 2nd finger on the different beats. So beat 1, beat 3, beat 1, beat 3, 5th string, 6th string, 5th string, 6th string at the same frets. All right, so it will sound like that. It's a nice rhythm. Okay, now, before I did mention that you pick and then you rest your thumb on the next string, but the problem is it sounds a bit naff when you go, because you've got this A string here which is now muffled, is now muted by your 2nd finger. So what I generally tend to do is pick and then skip over to the 4th string for the 4th beat strum. So like that. And then we go back to the E major chord for 2 bars. Now let's talk about changing between E major and B7. And the thing about these 2 chords is they have a finger in common, and it's the 2nd finger, okay, the 2nd finger. So when you're going from E to B, keep that finger fretted, all right, don't move it. This is going to be like the anchor finger, all right, because you're going to keep it down, take the rest of the fingers off, move your 1st finger in position, 1st fret of the D string, and then 3rd finger on the G string, 4th finger on the high E string at the same fret. So fingers 2, 3 and 4 are all on the 2nd fret. And the same will work in reverse. So when you go back from B7 to E, right, that finger will stay anchored on the fretboard. And this just helps with the transition, because sometimes when you take all your fingers off the fretboard, it makes it harder to go back. So sometimes there are chords that have fingers in common, which you can use to anchor yourself on the fretboard when you're changing between them. So let's have a little run through of this verse together, and let's take it slowly, shall we? All right, just like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the twilight glow I see blue eyes crying in the rain. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. When we kiss goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. And then we go into the middle section. Now, if you're getting value out of this, why not give us a like? Help spread the message to other total beginner guitar players too. Now, the middle section has a slightly different chord order, but this time we're going to be using all 3 of the chords. So the A is the 1st chord that begins the middle section. So we have 4 bars of A, 4 bars of E, 2 bars of B7, and then it goes back to the verse. And if we look at the thumb picking pattern for this, and again, don't be overwhelmed when you see this, okay? We have the A major chord, it's 4 bars, and what are we doing? Well, as you can see, the thumb is going to be picking the 5th and 6th strings, the 5th and 6th strings on the 1st and 3rd beats. First, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're doing that same thing again, where once we picked it, we're kind of resting on the next string, getting ready for the strum. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that there. It's a nice pattern. And then we have 2 bars of E and then 2 bars of B7. And for the E and the B7, you're going to play the same picking pattern. For the E chord, you're going to pick the 6th and 5th strings, like so. And then the B7. And so your second finger is going to alternate between the 5th string and the 6th string. Now a quick transition tip between the E major and the A major chord. Again, this is the way I play A major with the 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers. Now when you go from E, these 2 fingers, keep them close together. And then when you lift up to go across to the next 2 strings, you're on the same frets, and then you'll just put down the 4th finger. And the same will work in reverse. Take off the 4th finger, lift up these 2, keep them close together, and then go back to strings 5 and 4 for the E major chord. And of course, you're going to put down the 1st finger. And then when we go to the B7, the 2nd finger will be anchored on the fretboard. So let's have a go at the middle section, and we'll start on the A major chord. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love is like a dying ember, and only memories remain. And then it goes back to the verse progression, E and B7 chords. So all right, let's put everything together. That verse part and that middle part, and we'll play it nice and slowly. You don't have to sing. You can just focus on your rhythm and your steady thumb. But I do think it's a really great idea to sing, because I think the singing helps you with the rhythm, helps you change the chords. I think doing all 3 things together is a great idea. So we start on the E major chord, like so. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the twilight glow I see blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kiss goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. Love is like a dying ember, and only memories remain. And through the ages I'll remember blue eyes crying in the rain. Really simple way of playing this. Okay, there weren't all the bells and whistles like on the record, but this I think is a really great way to get you using E, A and B7 and to get that thumb ringing, don't you think? Not ringing, but playing. If you've enjoyed this simple version and it's starting to sound good, you might be thinking to yourself or noticing it still sounds a little on the plain side, like it's missing something between the chords, and that just means you're ready for the next step. So when you are, head over to my lesson on Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, another song Willie Nelson sings on, but this time with Waylon Jennings, and here we'll add a few little walk-ups to make your playing sound smoother and more musical. And if you want me to do a follow-up video to this one with all the bells and whistles, with all the guitar walk-ups, then let me know down in the comments. Thanks for joining me today. Happy strumming.